Nithyananda, everybody. So this time it's the Guaranteed Solutions Part 4. The intro Part 4 is what I am here on Facebook Live. So the last Facebook Live was an attempt to go and use the new feature on Facebook, which is you can, when a person is live and they're watching, a friend is watching, then you can bring them onto camera as well. So for instance, right now, Nithya Ramani is watching, so I could invite her to come on the camera. I won't do that. Don't worry. Hadis and Tony. So the idea was that I would bring a friend, a Sangha brother, to come and, hi Tony, Nithyananda, to come live and share about the power manifesting experience that we had. So that was the last video, but that didn't really work out. We're just getting used to technical stuff, but we'll have another go. I won't rest till I get it done. So anyway, that was the last video. Was more about the manifestation of divine fragrance, which was a really beautiful experience. And now this video is about the Guaranteed Solutions. This book, remember, it's written by His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. So this is my original book, okay, the original copy that I had borrowed from somebody, and they had wanted it back. But I got so connected to the book as I went through the whole Nitya Dhyan Yoga Acharya training, and I decided that I'll exchange a new copy for the old one. So I gave them I bought a new copy and I gave them the new one, and I kept this one. This is how. So you see, I even have you can see I've underlined and made notes and whatnot. So this is my original copy of when I learned the whole Nitya Dhyan Yoga content. Anyway, I'll start off where I finished off yesterday. And yesterday, Bhagavan left us with a process, if you like. Where it was more about sitting with ourselves, taking time and giving time to ourselves. So that is where we ended. Now, today, quite a lot of it may make sense or it may not, but that's okay. Because Swamiji is Bhagavan is talking about the meditation camp, which is Nitya Dhyan Yoga. The Nitya Dhyan Yoga program, which is 2 days, and it's about the 7 chakras. So this is what they look like. These are the positions of the 7 chakras. I'll hold the book as straight as I can. There we go. So what I had done is originally spoken on the Anahata chakra, which is located in the heart center. Then you have the Muladhara. So I'll go through each one of these as well. So Muladhara, then you have Swadhisthana, then you have Manipuraka. So 2 inches above the belly button is the Manipuraka. 2 inches below the belly button is Swadhisthana, Anahata. Then Vishuddhi is the throat center. And then you go Anya, which is your third eye, and Sahasrara, which is the top of your head, or the top of your crown. So that is the what do they call it? This is the diagram. I'm rolling my eyes at myself for having forgotten what to call it. So it's a diagram, the chakra diagram. And we went through Anahata chakras. So I'm going back and doing the intro now, and then I'll go back to the other chakras. Okay, so what does Bhagavan have to say today? So he says that this meditation camp, which is the Nitya Dhyan Yoga meditation camp, is all about how the mind works, how to unload the deeply engraved memories in our unconscious, how to prevent further loading, and how we can awaken the latent power of our being to move from instinct to intellect to intuition, so that we may live like a master and not a slave. So anything Swamiji does is about empowering us. And we saw in part 2 and part 3 mainly, what instinct level, how when we see things or see things or hear things or feel things or touch things, from that to when it gets to the mind, logically we understand this. Like for instance, smoking is something that we shouldn't do. We understand that. But then when it goes from the mind to the ego for a decision, that's when it all gets messed up and it gets into a reaction level. So because of the engrams in that region, that's why we take very quick decisions from reaction and engrams rather than a thought through process. So of course, the more loaded we are, the heavier the files are, the quicker the decisions are that we make, which are harmful for us. Then, so obviously we then are a slave to our patterns, isn't it? When we know we shouldn't smoke, but we can't help but smoke, then we are a slave to something unseen. So this is not about judgment, but that's how it is, right? So here Bhagavan is saying how when you know about the chakras, when you know what blocks you, and you can obviously unload all of that, then you can be a master. So you can live life being a master rather than a slave. So Bhagavan says, this program will bring light into all your emotions and help you see the play of your mind. It will show you how you create the emotions for yourself and land up being a slave to them. It will show you how your emotions directly affect your well-being at the physical and mental levels. So here, Swamiji himself is pointing at the chart, so I'm going to show you the diagram. Okay, now just take a look at the chart here. So here you are able to see a human form with 7 markings on it. So the diagram I showed earlier. Are all of you able to see? Are all of you able to see? Were you all able to see earlier on when I projected it? Well, yes. These 7 markings on this human form are called chakras. The chakras are the subtle energy centers of our body. They are 7 wheels of energy in our body. We don't have only one body as we think. We have 7 bodies, energy bodies. I will explain the first 3 bodies now. The first body, the one in which you have come here, in which you are moving, talking and writing, this is called the Jagrat Sharira, the physical or waking body. Okay. The next body is the Sukshma Sharira, the dream body, the one that you use in your dream state. It is the body you use to travel from place to place in your dreams. In your dreams, you see yourself in various places, is it not? Sometimes you see yourself in places which you have not even seen in the waking state. The third body is the Karana Sharira, the causal body which you use when you are in deep sleep. This body doesn't move. Now, the latter 2 bodies meet the physical body at 7 points. Oh, that's interesting. Along the length of the physical body. These 7 points are known as the chakras. There are 7 major chakras in our body. There are also a number of minor chakras, but these 7 are the major ones. They are responsible for our physical and mental well-being. These chakras were discovered a long time ago during the Vedic age. In fact, in many of the spiritual chants, you will find reference to the names of these chakras very often. Today, science has proved that there is a gland located near each of these chakras and is related to that particular chakra. These 7 chakras supply energy to the glands. These 7 major chakras deeply influence our physical, emotional, and mental activities. They have great power. They are energy centers, and if they are kept in a cleansed and energized condition, they can cause us to live an ecstatic and healthy life. All our disease is only an imbalance in any one of these chakras because our body and mind are very deeply rooted in our inner consciousness. Keeping these chakras in a healthy state, we can see a transformation happening in us at the mental and physical levels as well. Interesting. Okay. Oh, this is one of my favorite stories. I must read it to you. So, Bhagavan says, let me tell you a small story. After World War I, a biplane was abandoned near a remote tribal settlement in Asia. The tribal people had never seen an aircraft in all their lives. There was a lot of excitement and commotion about it, and a big crowd gathered around it. They wondered what it might be, and each one started giving some suggestion about it. They finally concluded that since it had wheels, it must be a bullock cart. News spread in the village about the new bullock cart. There was a lot of celebration in the village, and the biplane was taken around the settlement yoked to bullocks, and it served as a bullock cart. Some weeks later, a young tribal boy who had returned from the city where he was studying saw the biplane. He got into it and looked around. He saw all the gears and mechanisms in it. He fiddled with the switches and levers one by one. Suddenly, the engine came to life. He managed to taxi the plane around on the ground for a short distance, and the villagers were shocked at what they saw. The boy had seen tractors being used and declared to people that the biplane was not a bullock cart, but some kind of a tractor. So it's an upgrade. There was great celebration once again, and the biplane started being used as a tractor. 6 months passed by, and a retired army officer came to the village. He saw the biplane being used as a tractor and was shocked. He told the villagers that it was not a tractor and that the plane could actually fly. They refused to believe him. The only things they had ever seen flying were birds. The army officer got into the aircraft, flew it for a short while, and landed it. So he demonstrated it. The villagers were wonderstruck. Then they understood its true potential. You see, man is a wonderful mechanism that is meant to fly, but we don't know our true potentiality. We have a very limited view of ourselves. Most of us operate only as a bullock cart at the instinct level, surrendering to our emotions. I'm just going to pause there for a moment because it is so true. This story, if one were to contemplate properly, because I've read the story many, many times, and the officer, the army officer is Swamiji in a way. Okay, so if I were to compare the analysis or analyze or analogy, compare the analogy to Swamiji being the army officer and us being the villagers who've never seen a biplane, so we've never seen anything about our superconsciousness ever. So we just use everything at a basic level. So we use it like a bullock cart, I guess, in a backward way, right? But when you see an army officer, an expert that knows the equipment, that knows how to work the equipment, that knows the potentiality of that equipment, can only tell us. And we may not believe that we can fly, just like the villagers didn't believe the plane could fly, but Bhagavan has demonstrated to us, just like the army officer demonstrated the aircraft, being flown around as a little demonstration. Understand that really, if we were to give a little time and give complete listening to what Bhagavan is sharing with us, even though we may not believe it, we may not have seen it, we may not have used it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And when an expert is telling us, we've got to have some humility, I guess, and listen to what is being shared. So this analogy here, the story here that Bhagavan is using is actually making a lot of sense now in terms of, Bhagavan being the army officer who knows who knows the inner map, who knows the potentiality of our superconscious component of ourselves, and he's showing us how to fly. So it's good to listen to what he's saying about chakras and about the different levels at which we respond, or anything else that Swamiji is talking about. So here he says, you see, man is a wonderful mechanism that is meant to fly, but we don't know our true potentiality. We have a very limited view of ourselves. Most of us operate only as a bullock cart at the instinct level, surrendering to our emotions. So we are just basically going up and down, up and down, up and down, according to our outside, whatever is happening, having a bad day, and then getting distracted, and then getting into even more trouble and more incompletions and more engrams, and then reacting even more and going into a vicious circle. So here Bhagavan is showing how to get into a virtuous circle, and that is by learning about the different chakras, where we get stuck. If you want to go and listen to, or you can read the book as well, that is also okay. But if you wanted to go and listen to all of the videos, or watch the videos, whichever one, you prefer to do. Then you can watch the part from part 1 to part 19, I believe I did, on another chakra. And that was just, the heart center and how it gets blocked by attention, need, and approval seeking, and how to unblock it, how to unblock our true existential energy space in us, which is the unconditional love. I'll just read a few more lines and then finish here for today. Those of us who associate ourselves with mostly external things, like, you know what, I think I'm tuned with Swamiji. I just was mentioning about outside stuff. Here we go. Those of us who associate ourselves with mostly external things like a home, a car, a profession, and other basic amenities, and don't look any further than that, use our bodies as a bullock cart. So here is not about judging, about being in the outside world. I don't believe that's what it's about. What Bhagavan, I feel, is saying is that as long as we identify ourselves, so if I believe that I am my powerfulness comes from the car that I have, the clothes that I have, job that I have, the people that I have, the relationships that I have, etc., etc. Now, if I'm empowering myself depending on the external happenings, then obviously when they go, I am going to be affected, right? So when these things go, the problem is not that we have it. The problem is not that we want to have and enjoy these experiences. It's the fact that we start identifying ourselves with that, start creating a personality, if you like, around that, which leaves us unfulfilled anyway. But then most of the time, or a lot of the time, all of the time, is driven from incompletions. Because when we're complete, we can happily let go of things because we're fulfilled, right? So here we go. What is Paresh saying? Paresh is saying we are a mechanism with continuously upgraded cognitions of ourselves through completion, so we can fly and beyond. Yes, that is the N effect, the Nithyananda enlightenment effect, if you like. So hanging out with Swamiji, of course, an expert on super consciousness, he's going to be able to guide us which way to experience the fulfilled part of us. Yes. So yes, indeed, we are blessed and with his grace are able to upgrade ourselves with powerful cognitions in every moment. Okay, so yes, Jazz Nithyanandama, Sylvie Nithyanandam. Oh, wait, you look, I have these. Matan, hey Nithyanandam, how are you? Katrina, Pinya, Mira, Nithyanandam, Milija, Nechka, Anvita, Rajanima, Nithyanandam, Chris, and Paresh. Yes, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here till the end. I just feel grateful to be able to do this every day. And like I said, I keep it as a almost like a ritual, if you like. I look forward to it because when I get to share this, I can see the expansion happening in me as well. And revisiting all the truths that Bhagavan has shared, it opens up much more, another dimension of me that was obviously not, yes, through completion, demonstrations, and faith. Yeah, so like Bhagavan said, Paresh, that Bhagavan demands integrity, not faith. I mean, of course, the context that you're probably using it is in a way of saying that when we, I'm assuming this, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, that when you're saying faith, I'm assuming you mean that having a consistency, applying yourself, and having the will persistence. That's how I'm interpreting it. Because general faith, as in blind faith or whatever it is, wouldn't work in this situation because Bhagavan says he demands integrity. That's when he can deliver powers. So faith-based will deliver peace, and integrity-based will deliver powers. So very much about powerful cognitions, yes, and completion, definitely. And it's instant declaration for completion as well. You can do a Sati Sankalpa for completion. It need not be a long drawn out process if that's what you want to create. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm finding some flow, I believe. So it's good. I like coming every night and sharing. And I'm this has 600 pages of this book. Okay, so I probably be here a while for a lot more days to come. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. I will connect back with you again. You know what? Tomorrow and Sunday, I actually have Kalpataru Acharya training. So I might do this earlier. I might have a go at doing this earlier. So that I will see you tomorrow. Will persistence. Yes, Paresh. It's about will persistence, because some of these dead snakes can be a bit tricky to get out of. But yes, with will persistence, for sure, we can discard all the dead snakes which are not us, all the engrams, if you like, as Bhagavan is sharing in this Guaranteed Solutions book. Engrams, patterns, etc. Yes, all of these can be discarded. Okay, so once again, thank you so much for watching. See you guys, Nithyanandam. Take care.